Felionian welcome.
Indeed, a true Felionian welcome to you all. It is I, Gomez, and I'm joined by my co-host, Janky.
Hello there.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking about all the new things that have been going on, be it from the new lab to the little small patch notes that we got, and obviously Champione skins, as well as a little bit about the celebrating Pride situation and obviously the event that's going on. So let's just get into it, shall we?
Yeah, I have never been this excited about a patch that is just cosmetics. Because
I
like
mean,
when you come down to it, that's it, right?
I mean, yeah,
Unless.
in terms of patch 2.8, that is what it is, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Where do you want to start? Like, shall we do the labs last? Because that's probably the most stuff.
Okay, yeah. Let's crack on with everything else then that's currently dead. Then we'll end up on the new labs, which obviously is like quite a big thing potentially. We'll talk later.
Yeah. We have a lot to say on that one.
Oh yes.
So, first of all, to anyone who doesn't know, you can log in right now to get free stuff, free cosmetics, as well as this Dark Star event, which is like the big thing on the client right now.
Yes.
If you go into the store, there is a 0 gold bundle that contains a bunch of icons and emotes and a color shifted version of the Ellie, I think it's called Ellie the elephant.
Yes, the elephant. Yes.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's a celebration thing. I think it's like I haven't really looked into it. A fight against certain phobias, like International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia, which yeah, very good, nice.
Yep, it's always good to see when like games companies are supporting that kind of thing as well. It's like one of those things where like they're giving it to you for free, so it's not like they're like trying to profit off of it by going, yes, look, we're totally like friendly to all of this stuff. Now give us some money if you want to get the actual rainbowy stuff.
Yeah.
They're giving it all away for free.
This is an actual there's like a difference between virtue signaling and like and for profit and this is like this is a positive thing, and I'm not extremely educated on this kind of thing, but I believe all of the emotes are different flags. So I think I know the pale pink and the blue one. That's I'm actually not even going to try in case I get it wrong and offend someone.
I am also not educated in this pack, so I would not
I believe the different pride flags are all available in these emotes. I think. But they're free, and the emote's actually pretty cool. The celebration emote, and obviously Ellie is pretty one of my favorite guardians.
A little cute guardian,
little cutie.
To go with the because they gave us the Rainbow Poro, didn't they, last year?
Yes, which I still use sometimes. I actually really like that one.
So yes, they've done that. So I said you can get in there, get that for free. And as you also said, there is currently the new, which is the Dark Horizon event, which is currently happening, whereby just by playing games, you can make your way through and actually pick up some more emotes. Because I believe that the emotes are free on that, which are on that track. So obviously, you can get the pass, whereby you can get some of the other new Guardians. There's whenever you do any of these event things they do where you get the pass, you get a lot of other things for it if you do, but you don't have to spend money to get the pass. You can just go along the track for free. Won't get as much stuff, but there is still stuff to get.
Yeah, you'll get a pretty neat card back, a champion wild card, which is pretty good for people that don't spend a large amount of time playing the game, and a diamond chest, as well as a smattering of other things. But I would say for people who are tentative about spending their money, these event passes are always excellent value. They're the cost of one board or near enough. They're just under 2,000 gold, and you get a absolute dump of stuff. Like if you care about prismatics and stuff, but you are a bit stingent with your money, stingent, is that the right word? I would definitely suggest any of the events. The festival one was. They blew it out of the water with their first event. Like the festival one was incredible, and they've really kept up the quality over their next two. I think this is their third one now.
Yeah, because it was like Spirit Blossom. There was the I can't remember what the hell the other one.
Hard? No, like the KDA one.
The KDA one. That's the one.
Yeah.
I think I want to say because wasn't there an event when the Egyptian God card won actually?
Oh yeah, bollocks.
Well.
Yeah,
so
the Shurima event.
So this would be the fourth one that they've done. And I do actually like the way that they do it, because it's not. It's one of those things whereby even by playing, you're still getting things for free. Like I swear that in all of them, you've been able to get, when they've added some new emotes. Like emotes have been free on there, and maybe one of the new Guardians has been for free. And then if you want to get all the Guardians and that, then you have to pay for the event pass. And they, like I said, like as you said, throw in a couple more things like prismatics, like more prismatic stuff, and that. So I definitely like the way they do it, because it is still fun for free to play people, as well as those people who just want that little bit extra.
Riot's really good at sharing the love with their free-to-play players. Like, so don't forget, this is a good month for our free-to-play friends to come and get a load of free cosmetics.
Pretty much. Speaking of being prismatic stuff, did you also notice the fact that there's a second quest for the labs now? Like in terms of so before, I think it refreshes every 2 weeks, because I think that you can get 2 of that. So all the quests that we've had in the past have been the one that gives you the little bag of prismatic gems that you can use to collect and then make something prismatic. The labs one that was always just a one of that you had to I can't remember if it was spend mana or win a certain amount of lab games, and then you would get a green prismatic. And then there was the one whereby if you did Gauntlet or Expedition, you would get that, and that was always a free tier one, whereby if you play it, because that was a whole month, that quest, whereby if you played Expedition or Gauntlet, you'd slowly but surely get it up and get a green one, a blue one, and a purple one. But now the labs one actually lets you get 2, so you get a green one and a blue one if you do that thing.
I'm so glad you said that, because I thought I was imagining things.
Oh no, that's true. That is true.
Because it used to be play games of labs wins count as triple, and then it was 0 to 10, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, cool. I'm glad
Don't worry, you're not seeing things, mate. It's new. They've allowed you to go into a second tier where you can get blue, so you can get more prismatics from it, is basically the point.
Okay, good. Because I had psyched myself into believing that was the way that it always was, because it would make sense, right? One of them you can level up once, one of you can level up twice, and one you can level up 3 times. But yeah, they very, as always, as we've come to expect from this company at this point, very free-to-play friendly, and I wonder, actually, with the advent of skins, champion skins, I wonder if at some point we will start seeing, because they've put boards behind a paywall, right? Like you can't really get a board without spending money. Yes. But I wonder in the future if you'll be able to get some niche skins.
That is true, because at this moment in time you have to buy all the new skins. There's no way of getting them for free. So let's just go on to them and start speaking about them.
Yeah, true.
I will just say, number one, they all look very, artwork wise, they all look amazing.
Yeah.
100% look amazing. The thing that I will say is that obviously there is that kind of feels bad moment in that 2 of them don't have changes into the level up animations, in terms of Shyvana and Riven both look amazing. I would have loved to have seen the changes, because in terms of Yasuo and Zed's level up, they have gone crazy. If you look at those level up animations, they are literally out of this world.
They nice. I like that.
Thank you. I got this, buddy.
Zed cleaves a planet in half, and Yasuo makes Yasuo noises in space.
While destroying meteors and bollocks.
Yeah. Which, it's good to see. Those are 2 champions from beta that had pretty crap. Well, Zed specifically had a pretty crappy level up. So now there is the paywall option, which I like, personally. One thing that... This is a personal thing for me. There's more of a broad complaint that I have in a second, but personally for me, the Zed and Yasuo ones, I think, look worse than the Riven and Shyvana ones. They all look amazing, but the Riven and Shyvana ones, specifically the Shyvana one, looks incredible, and I would love to have seen specifically the 2 that didn't get level up animations.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. In terms of if they're going to the effort to do this, you want the full package, don't you? You don't just want the artwork change. You do want that level up animation and whatnot. Like, it's just, I don't know, for the satisfaction of buying it, you want that knowing, like,
Yeah.
this is a completely different feel rather than like seeing your magnificent artwork and then it is just the standard level up animation type thing. Now, as I said, I can kind of this is my guess. I can kind of see why they've done it. Number one, as you said, we get Zed and Yasuo are from beta, and so we've not seen any changes to their level up animations. And to be fair, not the worst out of the not the worst out of beta. Like Zed's level up was actually kind of okay, right, in terms of
And Yasuo's was very passable, actually. Like,
yeah.
Yasuo holds.
That's what I mean. They were two of the probably the most passable out of beta, but they've changed up these level up animations. I feel that they didn't do Riven and Shyvana because they have like gone past the point where like from beta it's now those animations are getting more on point, and they do have good level up animations on their own.
Oh, yeah, Riven has one of the best level up animations in the game. Are you kidding me? The way she like
that's what I'm
cleaves
saying.
the board, it's so cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like in terms of they've already done those level up animations to a better standard than the ones that were from beta, so that's why maybe they decided not to like change those animations. And I also think that because I feel that people would have complained more, right? Because they'd be like, they've been really good at it with your good level up animations, and you're still leaving Timo with his little waddle. But that's what I mean. So I feel like they did that, but I also feel like this is because they are set at different price points in terms of they're set at just the level up animation ones with the artwork are more expensive than the ones which are just the alternative artwork, and maybe they're seeing whereby the market is in terms of like so leaving a smaller value option and the higher widget level option to see what people are going for. Like maybe they're testing the waters. Who knows?
No, 100%. I think they're probably going to do this moving forward. Like, I think they're going to stick with this model. This is the same model, by the way, that they have in League, where they have certain skins which completely change the dialogue of the champion, and they are basically a different personality and a different character. And then there's certain skins that just cosmetically change them, which this is like kind of the equivalent.
Yes.
I do wish there were a middle ground. Like in League of Legends, there is a middle ground where like there's really cheap skins which just change the model. There's the really expensive skins that change the model and the voiceovers and the interactions and all that jazz, all the bells and whistles. And then there's the middle one, which changes the model and also all of the abilities to like match that model. And I think I would like to see a middle ground, like a middle price point in this game, whereby, so with the Riven and the Shyvana example, their level up animations are the same like animation, they've just used a different model. So like same Riven animation, but like her sword is blue and looks like it does in the art. Yeah. Same Shyvana, but it's just like a different 3D rendered model. I think they could cut some corners and make a middle-ish skin where the level up animation is at least a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More in theme with the new artwork.
I feel like Shyvana's one would have held fine, right? Like if they had just made the model a little bit more dark starry.
Yeah.
But that's like moving into the future. The one like complaint which I think is like a little bit less subjective, like me saying I like these two arts more is a bit unfair. But one thing that is like objectively true is there is no combination of these champions that make a meta deck, and I hate that. I want to have like I want my deck to have a theme, right? And I was thinking to myself, well, okay, these are the Dark Star cards. How do I make a Dark Star deck? And these two with the new level up animation don't go together. Yasuo Zed is crap. But then like going deeper than that, no combination of these. I'm getting a phone call from work. They can fuck off.
Fair enough.
No combination of these work at all. Like I
mean, you're not wrong. I will admit that. Do you like the comedy of the fact that like before going into, imagine if they would have announced these skins before like the adding of the latest set of new cards, and that like basically what I mean by that is like Zed and Yasuo were completely like Ionia was the weakest region before all these new cards got added. And now, look at that, we've got Irelia and whatnot. Ionia is slightly like she has saved Ionia. I'll give her that. But what I mean is, like, if this would have come out before, then it'd be, why these champions?
That, I mean, still though, right? Why these champions? I understand why they picked Yasuo because there are a million Yasuo fanboys, but like, doesn't Yasuo have like what? Hold on, let me quickly sort mobalytics by
I mean,
by win rate.
Zed was actually in the original trailer, right? Like it was Zed and Darius were in the original Legend of Runeterra trailer. So, like, I'm surprised. It would have been amazing if we did see Darius, but yeah, we got who we got.
Zed is in the lower third of win rates. He is 22nd from the bottom, and Yasuo is 9th from the bottom. So these are the first legendary skins, which I think is what they're calling them, right? The first legendary skins are on champions that are dog water.
But you can still make fun decks with them, buddy, so I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah.
Plus, the more people who want to play these decks, it opens up those champions for a little bit more experimentation. So I do appreciate that much.
Oh yeah, no, I like these are small nitpicks. I am upset that there is no meta deck or even close to meta deck combination of these four champions, but otherwise I'm fine with it. Like, I just wish there was more synergy between these cards. Like, at least if it was like Malphite Yasuo, I could see it. Like, even if it's not a good deck, you can build it. Yeah. But I can't even think of a brew with these four champions. Zed Riven, I guess?
Zed Riven is probably the closest you can get to putting two of these together and it being somewhat okay.
Win rate above 40%, yeah.
I mean, yeah, combining any of these other ones, Yasuo's got like a really specific thing that he's trying to do, whereby you kind of definitely have to put him with either Targon or what's his face, still not Noxus, but then if you're using Noxus, I don't think that Riven would fit with Yasuo at all. Yeah. And Shyvana, I mean, maybe a Shyvana Riven deck, you might be able to make a thing to be able to give those dragons overwhelm. But other than that,
it's
a hard one to make happen.
But they still look sick, and I am okay. I am personally okay with there being 2 price points. Like, I think I'm disappointed that they did it the way round that they did. I would have loved to see the Shyvana level up, but overall, exciting times.
And speaking of which, like in terms of artwork and amazing, I've got to say, I love the look of the new boards. Like, the new boards both look amazing, in my opinion.
Have you seen the premium version of the board in-game? Or we should probably talk about that first, right?
Right.
So there is a more expensive version of the Dark Horizon board, which comes with its own Guardian. It's a Guardian that can only be used on the Dark Horizon board, and it flies around, it shoots lasers at meteorites, it slithers over your board, and it is enormous.
It is the Mega Guardian, this is true. With its weird, which elongated penis tail thing that hides under the board.
I don't understand. No, it is enormous, and it is so cool.
Don't get me wrong, it's cool. There is one thing that I wish was a thing. Like, that they would have changed just a little tiny thing. If you look at the artwork, and most of the time when this big Guardian is out, one of its hands kind of hovers over your deck. I would have loved it if, just as a little added bonus, when you drew cards, he handed you your card. That would be the one little thing that I'd say I would have loved if they would have just added that, because he's a Mega Guardian. At least the Mega Guardian can do is interact with my deck and actually hand me cards.
He shoots lasers at passing meteors. Like, I'm hyped. Anyway, I do agree with you. That would have been sick, but like, I'm not particularly upset that it doesn't do that. I also think we have a strong competitor for the coolest board to match into a mirror with. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. No, both these two together. Because the thing of it is, it's not even if you've both got the Guardian, it's glorious. If neither of you have the Guardian, it still looks good. And if one of you has the Guardian and one of you doesn't, it looks good.
Yeah, it's the premise of Mega Guardians. I'm very excited for. Maybe even a little bit more excited than the idea of skins, or at least these 4 skins.
Hmm.
This premise really excites me, and I'm very excited to see what they do going forward.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see who we see in the future. Obviously, I said these will only be board exclusive. I'm assuming, like
Yeah.
any going forward, these legendary guardians or future, they're going to be uh, board exclusive, but they do look really cool. And as you said, they can fly around shooting lasers at me.
Yeah,
It's like it's
the fact
devastating.
that they are board exclusive means that they can do more stuff on your board because they
Yeah,
were designed to be there, right?
yeah,
Like, remember early on in the history of Guardians where the little the robot the what is the robot's name? The guy with the guns for hands, the T Hex, I think.
I think it's the T. I think it's just T Hex.
Yeah, T Hex used to not sit correctly on like any board at all. Like his legs clipped through everything. So like it's hard to make Guardians interesting if they are designed to work on every single board. Is
Yeah,
I guess the takeaway from that.
yeah.
Um, is there anything else to
I
say
think
really about the?
all that is that literally all the cosmetics look good. Even the new emotes, so the straight up fired up Shyvana, like basically Dragon Ball Z style, like
Oh yeah, I guess that is what that's meant to be.
Dragon Ball Z style thing, and then laser eyes Von Yip.
It, yeah, this is better than the last one Yip emote. I'll give it that. Like the last one Yip emote was so specific. I'm probably not going to be able. I'm probably not going to find space for either of these. I haven't been able to find space for an emote since like Ezreal sweating. That was the last emote I was really excited for.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was one of these things. I actually went back because nobody saw the Zillion emote properly. Like in
Yeah,
terms of the way that they presented the Zillion emote, everyone was like, "Oh, that's pretty meh." And then when you actually see it, that the ad of the portal makes that emote so much better. I'm surprised why they didn't include it when they showed it off to begin with. Literally, they put everyone off of that emote, and you see it, you're like, "My God, that's actually far superior than what they made it look like."
yeah.
Whereas the Zillion was the one
That one is pretty fire. I'll be honest with you, but it serves the same purpose as the Ezreal one, and the Ezreal one might be
Yeah.
my favorite emote in the game.
Yeah. Good old sweaty Ezreal.
Yeah. When your opponent does some play that's out of this world, and you're like, bruh, help.
So I guess that takes us on to the glorious thing that we have got that's added is the new lab, which is a 2 versus 2 duo queue, of which me and you both played on Wednesday.
Yep, we went undefeated if you don't look at the VOD.
I mean, we got defeated in the first game, but that was us learning. Like I feel like because we weren't 100% sure what we were going into, and so we were trying to build decks specifically, kind of like for it. And then playing it, we just realized, you know what, sod this. Let's just go with decks that we're both comfortable with.
Yeah,
Once we did that, that's when we started winning.
It turned out that well, this is actually one of my complaints. It turned out that the format was largely exactly the same as ladder. Like you could what's good in ladder would be the same in duos. I don't want to say I'm disappointed by this format, but it is it needs some work.
What I do like about this deck is there's a few a deck which what I do like about this is a few things, right? So number one, when me and you actually played together, it was bugging out on us by the fact that we couldn't switch boards to be able to see what our comrade partner's situation was. Comrade, exactly. We couldn't see what our situation was together, and because it just literally the button wasn't working. There will be a video going up on my YouTube on Friday if you want to check it out. But literally that wasn't working for us. And also, when one of us finished the game, we ended up in a perpetual trying to spectate, but not spectate. And so it kept bringing us back to our victory or our loss, and basically reliving it until the other player finished their game, and then it finished for us in terms of getting into the next bit. So that is definitely was a fault at the time, but I have played it since, and it is actually a lot better in terms of the fact that you can switch between people. And this was actually an interesting thing that we didn't find out which was when we went into a match whereby I won my game and my comrade lost theirs. When it went into the final battle, they actually decided who did the final battle, whether or not they wanted to take my deck and go in, or whether or not they just wanted me to use my deck and which get like go into the match basically. So like even if you lose, you do kind of get the option to maybe still be in this and go
Yep.
again. So that's a little bit more interesting. And as I said, the ability to actually, because what happens is you get given in this lab, shared spoils, you get given random things. Now, when we first did this, we were thinking back to the previous times where it was always a spell. And so that's why we tried to make like Lee decks or something like that, because obviously like Lee works really well with spells. But that's not how this one works. This one, some of the things that you can get are 0 cost spells, but some of them are actually just straight up things that can happen, like you draw another card, or you get mana, or like it's just an instant effect from you choosing it, so it doesn't count as a spell, and or get a poro. There's certain different things that can be done.
That on in their defense, that is excellent. That's such a good and positive change, because like
it doesn't
means,
give a champion an advantage.
Yeah, it doesn't give unfair advantages to certain types of champions, which I think is important, because they are trying to make this competitively, like, have competitive potential. There's a very good blog post on playroomterror.com/news called Experimenting with Labs, where it talks us through their goals and areas to improve with all of the things they've brought out so far. And their journey to the peak, Lab of Legends 2, 2v2, and finally Shared Spoils. It's well worth the read. It gives you insight into what they're planning to do with this going into the future, and it does sound a lot as if they are planning to make a 2v2 duo queue experience a ranked thing, which I'm very excited for.
I mean, I'm also very excited. I know that there's some people who won't, because some people don't have somebody to play with, but it kind of like fosters the ability to like connect with people and make friends and do this kind of thing together, because it is a lot of fun. Like obviously it is still fun to play on your own, but it's very nice to also play with other people and working it out together and being like, okay, what decks can we both, because this was the other thing that I thought was very nice about when we played. When we went in, it gave us it gives you what your bonus is going to be. So be it that immediately you do 2 damage to the enemy nexus, or at the beginning you get to predict a card, or at the beginning, like there's a ton of different things.
Or clone a random follower in your hand.
Exactly.
One of these things is not like the others.
But basically you get given a random thing, but you get to choose decks, but you don't just choose from your own. You actually get to choose from the decks that your partner has put up as well. So that's kind of nice, because it helps people who are new to the game, who don't have a collection themselves. If one person is experienced and brings some decent decks, then the other person can technically play one of those decks. Like, because as you can't both choose the same deck, but you can put forward your decks and then you choose one and allow your comrade. I'm still going to call it his partner, but I'm still going to call it comrade, because that word is just too funny for me to keep using that now. So I would to choose one of those decks as well. So it is actually really nice for new players, as well as the fact that obviously you need to be working out what the powers are, what the bonuses are. I'm thinking you want to get an array of different decks that work towards each of those, so that whichever one you get given, you and your partner, whether it be the decks that you've brought in yourself, or one of the decks that they've brought in to change up. It's very interesting in terms of that.
So I think it's not even necessarily the gameplay itself that I am excited for. I mean, I am, but what I'm trying to say is games like Hearthstone and games like LOR, they're kind of like, Jimmy No Friends games. Like a lot of friend groups, they have their background noise game, like the game that they play in the background when they're just socializing of an evening on Discord. Like for some friend groups it's Minecraft, for my friend group it's League of Legends, and it's like something to like do in the background while you're just talking with your friends. And the idea of Legends of Runeterra becoming one of these games that you can just kind of switch off and play with your buddy and talk about whatever bollocks you want. That really appeals to me. Like, having a social element, regardless of what that social element looks like, to Legends of Runeterra is really what I'm excited for moving forward.
Yeah.
But if we're going to talk about how Shared Spoils is right now, on a competitive, like, or like on a game design perspective, like how it fills the power fantasy of two people queuing up together and smashing their opponents, there is a pretty significant disconnect between what the two players are doing, which was not helped at all by our games bugging out and being unable to see each other's board.
Yeah. Yeah.
But more so, it does feel as if you are playing two completely different games. Even if we could see what each other, like what what we were doing.
Yeah, you are technically, like, the only little bit that you do have is that every 3 moves you get a choice between 2 different things, and whichever one you don't choose is going to be one of the options that your partner or comrade gets.
Brother in arms.
Exactly. And then they get but then they get another choice to go from anyway. Now, sometimes this can be crucial, depending on what obviously your options are. If it is that like draw or heal, because some of them are like heal for free or draw a card. If you look at your situation and you look at your friend's situation, and if you discuss together and be like, okay, I could really do a heal with a heal right now. So if you don't choose that one, then like I'll get that and use it. Like, there's slight little bit, but it's only every 3 rounds. Other than that, you are basically playing 2 separate games. Whether or not you win or lose, if you both win, obviously you get to go into the rewards. If one of you wins and one of you loses, then it goes into a tiebreaker between the 2 people who won. / if the loser decides that they want to take on the match instead, they can do so with the winning deck. So there's not a lot of interaction, but as a starting point, I can see where it could potentially go. The one thing that I never got to see, because technically, when you go into the mode, it does show you both who your side are and who's on the opponent's side. And as I said, you can switch between the 2. The one thing that I didn't test, and maybe we should test, is because you are technically still on that same board, is testing whether or not cards like the investigator who says all players draw 1, whether or not that actually does affect all players, or whether or not it only affects the 2 people in the game that they're in.
It must only affect, because think about it, we were on different turns and stuff. Like,
that is true. That is true.
You were on turn 5 when I was on turn 3. Like, there's no way that the investigator works across the games. Like, surely.
But in the future.
Yeah, well, that's actually something I think would make the game like feel a little bit like you're playing with your ally more. Is if we all had to pass, like if we were all in the same mana gems.
Wouldn't that be funny if literally in Shared Spoils it does work, and like, so as you said, I'm on like turn 5, but you're on turn 3, just randomly during the middle of your turn, you just suddenly just draw a card. Wait a minute, I played the investigator.
Like, I'm thinking through my turn. I have nothing to play on turn 3. You top deck me Draven. Oh,
now I go. That'd be the most weirdest thing if it worked like that. But if that in the future going forward, if those kind of things were a thing, because obviously there must be a use to the cards which have the word all written on it, because otherwise, why would the hell would they not just have both? Because there's got to be a reason why that's going to be in the future. The plus side is, as you said, you can't go into it with multiple, like you yourself can't go in with multiple champion, like the same champion. I believe you said when you were trying to queue up. So you can't go with multiple of the same champion, which it is good, because what that means is basically, say that you both basically made the exact same deck that was both running Teemo, and both of you, your aim was basically to force everyone to draw more cards, be through investigators and whatnot, basically put loads of through. If both of you were using the exact same game plan, and that was a thing, like I said, every single time when somebody's playing an investigator, both players are making people draw more, and you put shrooms in, it would be quite devastating.
What an app! Can you imagine what a clown fiesta that would be? Like, not only are you just randomly drawing cards in the middle of your turn, but it's happening frequently, and you're taking damage from it. What the fuck is going on?
What is happening up? So, but going forward, I definitely like where this mode could go, and as I said, making it competitively viable would be very nice. The idea of literally you being able to select your decks, like choose a couple of decks, and then you go into it, and then get given an option, and then choosing which deck you think is best, like suitable for that, and then going against some, like two other people who have done exactly the same thing, and then it going down to tiebreakers. It's I think it's very interesting, and I'd love to see how that would go working ranked wise. So quite excited. I'm not gonna lie, I am quietly excited about this kind of thing.
I'm very loudly excited, but there is
I'm not nothing to be quiet about.
What I would like to see in order to make it just feel as if you're playing more of a game with your ally. I don't want them to. So you say it's only once every 3 turns. I don't want them to make those choices more frequent, because I think it like interrupts the flow of the game.
More impactful.
I feel like it adds too much RNG to the game as well. No, it's not that. I think it's just it would just disrupt the flow of the game. Like you say, I just want to see them do more. Like when I get offered like 2 choices, and one of them is like gain 3 life, and one of them is summon a random Poro. It's like, okay, I'll talk to you again in 3 turns, buddy.
You got this, I believe.
Yeah. You pick either. I don't give a fuck. I'm on 20, and I don't want a random 1/1. Yeah.
So yeah, there is like things that can be done to improve, to just, as you said, make it more impactful. But if they started adding it too frequently, then it would just get a little bit too RNG based. So it's a delicate balance that they must do. But to make it feel like you are both working together, if they can get that just right, it'll be an amazing mode that I honestly will probably love more than the standard ranked mode.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. I will play more duo queue than solo queue if that becomes an option. And yeah, Riot's very, very good. Like they've only proven their aptitude, and like year after year, they are really a astoundingly good company. So I am quietly, loudly again, confident that they're gonna smash it out the park, and by the end of the year we'll have duo queue, and it will be great.
Yeah, and I'll see you there, buddy. So top masters, yeah. I mean, I'm not when they make duo queue into actual like which are esports and whatnot. Yeah, I'll see you there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have to do it at least once just to show them that absolute clowns can make it to the top of the ladder.
We went undefeated for we lost the first game.
Because we're really good at this game. It's just we don't act like it. Just because we play like idiots doesn't mean we are.
Mate, I still won with a Heimer deck and won twice with a Swole Skrill deck.
I won with your deep deck that didn't have Jettison.
No. It didn't have Jettison, and it also didn't have what's his face? Slaughter Ducks.
It didn't have early game or ways of getting deep efficiently, but we made it, and we won with that deck every time.
Because who the hell wants to get deep quick when you can have treasures with lots of riches?
I don't want to get deep quick. I want to get deep good.
Exactly. I want to get rich quick, not deep quick.
Okay. And the last and most important change is that the Bromporo now
doesn't overlap anymore.
Yeah, fair. But on the subject of bugs, it doesn't seem as if they have bug fix to the pretty prevalent bug on the ladder right now, whereby I keep on forgetting his name. Little student,
the sparring student.
Yeah, sparring student is not properly displaying its power and toughness, but still acts as its correct power and toughness. So it might attack forward as a 2/2. This happens a lot when multiple units are summoned, like with Dune Keeper or on an Irelia Blade Surge. It might be displaying as a 2/2, but it is like a 4/4. And if your opponent isn't paying proper attention, it is potentially game losing.
I will admit that I have made that mistake a couple of times.
Yeah,
sometimes I do think to myself, wait a minute, they both of those spikes. Like, I feel like I hit that most like the worst when I can't remember whether or not they played both spying students before doing, because obviously I can notice it a lot more when there's two spying students, because normally one of them will actually be at the correct stat and the other one won't be. But if they were both on the board at the same time, they should be at the same thing. So when you see that one's off, you're like, that's off. But sometimes you miss it, right?
I can hardly blame you. Is it so bad for you to like expect for the game to be displayed correctly? It is super annoying, and it is like a real issue on ladder right now with it being a frequent bug that comes out when
I think
the
it's
most
because
popular
loads of
deck is
people are
being
playing
played.
it. It's one of the most used decks. Obviously, that is where the annoyance comes from. Is the fact that literally it's a fool me once, but then you still keep looking at it just in case.
Yeah, happily, if you hover over the Oracle's Eye, which I spam the Oracle's Eye because I'm not good at maths. If you hover over the Oracle's Eye, it fixes itself. So there is that at least.
Yeah, but it is one of those things where literally, if you're not looking, if you're not paying 100% attention at the time, and you think, oh, I'll do that block's going to kill that sparring student, and then suddenly it goes through, and it's like, wait a minute, my unit's there, but that little bastard is still alive!
And it's always on full health, because at the start of turn, it goes back to being a 1-1.
Yep, that's very
Ready
true.
to be buffed up again.
Yep.
Disgusting. Which
I mean, it's a really good deck. There are counters to it, and that's why I'm like, a lot of people come in and are like onto my like stream and whatnot and ask me what are my opinions on it. And literally, I don't really care. It is a powerful deck, but it does have counters. Okay, it is a problem in the fact that that deck forces you to have to build a deck in a certain way so that you are countering that deck because it is the most used deck. So it's forcing you to build around it, which is an annoyance. But slowly but surely, it's actually like the play rate is starting to go down as like more and more people are playing the counter to it. Then it goes down. It's the same as any kind of deck like that. It will wane and come back, right? That's like any kind, like the second that a new champion comes out, their play rate goes through the roof, and then like it slowly but surely drifts and whatnot. This is obviously a really powerful deck, but there are counters. So as I said, I don't feel too bad about it because I feel like it will slowly but surely die off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So my opinion of this deck is the same as my opinion always is, which is whenever there is new champions that feature heavily in a deck that is competitively not even viable, powerful, its play rate ends up being absolutely whack. So this happened with Pirate Burn when Gangplank got released because it was a very powerful deck and has been consistently strong. It was just new, so it had a really insane play rate. And then moving forward, the same thing happened with Tahm Kench Soraka, a deck which has always been strong, but its play rate dwindled. And this will happen again with Azir Irelia, because this deck will probably be strong for a very, very long time, but it will not hold its play rate, and people will not hold their anger towards it. And just to address the people who are saying that there is no counterplay, if people are having really real issues on the rank ladder playing against Irelia Azir, a couple of suggestions: try playing maybe Ezreal Draven with a couple of copies of Culling Strike. That has a very good win rate right now. Dragons has a very good win rate into it, or at least medium win rate into it. And Braum Vladimir has an excellent win rate into it because you are playing directly into their game plan.
And also, if you're running potentially something Shadow Islesy, which you're running Withering Whale,
yep,
can also be a big takeaway from what they're trying to do as well. So like Box and Withering Whale can actually be quite devastating. And if you're pairing that with somebody like Kindred or Nasus, who is loving all that Slay stuff, you know, there are ways of countering, and so that's why I'm not 100% mad about this deck.
Yeah,
personally. Like the craziness is, I think it's yet again, we've got different experiences. So as you say, you come from Magic, and Magic, whereby if there's a broken deck, that deck stays broken because it's written in the stone,
Yeah.
as you say, because it's a printed game. So if it's a broken deck, it's a broken deck, and it will literally just be a continuous thing. From Hearthstone, if something was broken in Hearthstone, it had a crazy percentage win rate that literally you had to play that deck even to get a 50-50 chance on the ladder. If you weren't playing this deck and you were queuing with anything else, you are losing. Like, if you are against it type thing. Whereas this, it is still winnable, and the win rate of the deck is not as big as people think it is. It's nowhere near to an insane degree in terms of like win rate. I think it's still it's either at 50 something or just shy of 60.
Yeah, it changes depending on the variant. I think the
Yeah.
best variant of the deck is sub 60. It must be sub 60. I think it's hold on, let me double check for you. 58.2% is the best variant.
Which is powerful, but that is still, it's not a crate, like, you know what I mean? Like there's been cards and decks in which had other games that have had like an 80% win rate. So,
Oh, yeah. Like,
so that's what I mean. It's not insane.
Very similar decks, even. Like, you're talking about Hearthstone. Odd Paladin, when Odd Paladin was absolutely insane, was like you say, nearly a 80% win rate, and had a very similar play pattern to a Zero Irelia, except instead of like playing the game, you just like started banging your head against your table until you lost enough brain cells.
And that was the thing of it. There was little to no counterplay, right, against that deck. So
in close. Remember, whenever you see a post on Reddit or on Twitter of somebody talking about how a deck has zero counterplay and how it's like really obnoxious and how it's destroying the meta, etc., etc. Remember, that was written by a person who just lost to that deck.
Yeah.
Without fail. Don't fall for the hate mob. Like, think objectively, build around the meta, and don't let yourself get angry because you've lost to the same deck over and over and over again.
Listen to Uncle Gomez. get smart, not mad. That's what you should do. Get smart, not mad. If there's a deck that you continuously have problems with, first advice, play it. Because although you
100%.
Although you hate it, play it. By playing that deck, you will learn its weaknesses, and by you'll learn basically. Okay, right. As I'm playing this deck, right. Sometimes I don't have this in hand. Oh crap, that really sucks when I don't. Or like you. It's surprising how much you learn. Like, there is a thing saying, like, oh, don't play that deck. All you're doing is adding to the problem. If you play the deck, you learn what its weaknesses are, and you can exploit them. So get smart, not mad. And then once you learn it, counter it. Learn what you need to put into a deck to counter it. And if you need to, get on there with a friend and be like, okay, you continuously play this deck. I've got some deck ideas. Let's test this out and see how good I do against that deck. So you play that deck as you would normally, and I will try to counter. There are ways whereby you can really get together and work it out in terms of not having to just get mad about the situation.
And not even learning the deck's weaknesses, you also learn the deck's play pattern, which is very important for playing against it, because in any given matchup, in every single matchup in LOR, or any card game, you want to think to yourself, before you make any action, what is my opponent wanting to do this turn, and do I have the time to perform my action, or do I have to try and inhibit his action?
Yeah.
So in the Azir Irelia case, it's actually like extremely easy. They always want to play DS on turn 2, and they always want to play Azir on turn 3. And because of that, despite unloading enormous amounts of damage and feeling like they feel like an aggro deck, right? When you're playing against it, you feel like you're being aggroed down. But their first 3 turns are really slow. You can play decks that are faster than it. You can play Darius Azir has a very high win rate right now. Good old Jinx Raven. You can get under them because there's certain things that they want to do. They have pre-setup. And that's the kind of thing that if you
once you force them onto the defensive rather than the offensive, you can actually do quite well against that.
Oh, yeah, you've as good as one. Like, if they fall behind because they run no removal except Homecoming, you've pretty much won the game. But that's the thing. That's something that you wouldn't know playing against it, because playing against it, you're just like, oh, this deck's blisteringly fast. I feel like I'm taking 20 damage in a single turn. When you play as it, you realize its limitations, which is integral to winning against it.
Yeah, and I just think like that's the thing that people need to learn. I do love the Legends of Runeterra community. It's a lovely community. It's just remember sometimes that you're don't just go instantly in for hate, people. Let us go for love and what's good and being smart. I feel like that is our better way forward.
You know, for like a couple of minutes there, we sounded like we were good players.
I know for a couple of minutes there, then we went straight back to foolishness. So, hey, we're back on track. It's the main thing. That's where we deserve to be. We stayed there. It's fine. But honestly, it is the thing whereby just getting mad and getting tilted. All that's gonna do is if you go into the next game, you're gonna be off. Like if you're playing ranked, if you queue against it, you just get mad and like tilted. It will just destroy the rest of your games. So you need to learn to brush yourself off, take the next one as a new game. It's very important, otherwise, because your hatred will fester and become more like towards other things. So
before you know it, you become Mogwai. No hate against Mogwai.
Mogwai's great. Like, to be fair, like that's the thing with it as well, that he does have some really valid opinions. I feel that some people take it bad sometimes, but it's because when you're a creator, when you're like you are playing this game so much that you can get tilted, right? In terms of you're continuously going against the same thing again and again and again. It can bleed through into it. So it is understandable. It's always take whatever you hear from anyone, just with a pinch of salt, and not have to don't.
Yeah,
just crazy about it.
Like Mogwai had some really good points on the whole Zero Irelia thing. I agree. I disagree with some of them, but the hate that he received on Reddit that caused him to uninstall Twitter for a while was so unnecessary, because he put forward some constructive points. I think so. The comparison that he made was they made Relentless Pursuit go from fast speed to slow speed because coming out of nowhere with a new attack token is unfair for competitive gameplay, which is a really good comparison. But I would also say that they nerfed Relentless Pursuit about the same time that they nerfed Legion Rearguard, and I honestly think that they could revert the nerf on Relentless Pursuit and it would be fine. Nowadays, I think a fast-speed Relentless Pursuit is okay. We've reached a point in the game where cards are powerful enough that would be okay.
I mean, I would slightly disagree with you there.
Oh, really? You think?
I would, just because it means it puts your opponent on... Because basically what you could do is your opponent could put forward an attack forward because they're trying to weaken you or knock certain things out potentially. And what you could do is you could then put your defense forward, get some potentially really good trades, or just you don't mind what you're trading as long as you're trying to get rid of some of their things, and then while you're in that defense, Relentless Pursuit. It then goes immediately into your turn and you immediately go forward without your opponent being able to do anything, which is quite devastating. It can be. I know that this is a similar thing, but the Blades, it's only a 1/1. A free one or something, depending on whether or not they've got Inspiring March or I don't know, the potential of that Relentless Pursuit move with, say, something like Dragons or something that's that immediate, boom, they're immediately going back on you again from a defensive, I feel a little bit too much.
Yeah, when I say I think it would be okay, that doesn't mean I think they should do it. I don't think they should revert it. I just think if Relentless Pursuit wasn't in the game right now and they printed it nowadays as a fast speed spell, I wouldn't be surprised to see it that way. If you know what I mean.
Right.
As a card that were to come into the game now, I could see Relentless Pursuit being fast speed again, which is why I don't necessarily agree with Mogwai's comparison. But like I said, he put forth his arguments very constructively, and it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. He actually waited like a week to start complaining. Like, he wrote a Twitter piece saying, I know you guys are waiting for me to complain about Azir Aurelia, but I want to be sure I understand the deck first.
Yeah.
He got like some pretty unfair backlash, which is a shame because he's a really cool guy.
It is true. It is true. Like, really, really good creator as well. Like, a really nice, like.
Oh yeah, he's on that grind. Holy moly!
But honestly, yeah, I feel like that's us coming to an end, right?
That seems to be it. That's
I feel like we've covered. We digressed a little bit at the end, but I hope that you found it entertaining, people.
Yeah, I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring up Azir Aurelia. Like, it wasn't. We didn't talk about it in the last episode, and it's kind of the elephant in the room right now. Except for the free elephant that you can get for logging into the
Haha! Segue!
Full circle!
But yeah, no, honestly, yeah. So, thank you so much to everyone who has listened to us. Bear in mind that you can catch us on all the things, be it Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, some form of hat.
If you look deep into some tea leaves for long enough.
Exactly, you can get all the action.
That's the spooky episode. We tell you some dark shit if you look too deep.
So the voice of the R1 podcast, you can catch us in a multitude of different places, as well as you can catch me, which is Gomez of the Land Up channel on Twitch and YouTube, and also you can catch Janky on which is like Twitch and a little bit on YouTube. I know that you still doing like a video a week, or what's the situation?
Arguably, yes. In theory, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going with my YouTube content because I'm not happy with what I've uploaded recently, and I want to be proud of my work.
Fair play. But links, regardless of the fact, will all be down below. And obviously, you can get us both on Twitter as well. So, thank you all so much for listening. I hope that you had a great time. And until next time, bye.